someone to lead us in pledge to the flag.
Stand. Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today, Lord. We just thank you for our breath that we have, our health, and Lord, any problem that we think is a mountain, you've already conquered it. God, we lay everything at your feet tonight. We ask that you will soften hearts, that you will open minds. Lord, help us to give us your knowledge and wisdom tonight to be able to bridge the gap, whatever that may be. Lord, we love you and we praise you. Thank you for our country. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before approval of the meeting agenda, I need to add to the agenda our budget and our salaries, and we're going to add that for 10F, which will be right before adjournment. Is there any objections to that? Mr. Flynn?
Make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, Jennifer?
30 seconds.
Mine did not digitally come up, but I vote yes.
Thank you. All agreed.
Motion carries. This is the time of public comment, but there was no one who signed up, so we're moving on to the approval of the meeting minutes. Mr. Flynn?
Make a motion we approve the meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Whittle? Can we vote, please?
30 seconds.
Yes.
Thank you. All agreed.
All right, moving on to announcements. Mr. Boyd?
Sure, just a reminder, July 4th, district office and all schools and district office and services are closed for the July 4th holiday. Annual District Administrative Leadership Institute in July is July 9th to 11th. We also annually schedule it's all the principals, assistant principals, district staff, district-wide coaches, instructional coaches. We have a leadership planning retreat. That's July 16th. That's in Gray at a location. For our students, our rising ninth graders, AMP Camp is July 21st through 25th. Both high schools have an opportunity, students going into both high schools have an opportunity to participate in that camp as a kind of a preview of high school and get to be acclimated before all the other students arrive in the weeks after.
Do you know, is there a deadline for applying to go?
It's still posted on the website to register. Yeah.
So somebody can't just show up?
Well, I would say we would prefer to have them on our list, but we won't.
They're going to turn them away. Okay.
As long as they're a rising ninth grader.
Right.
Just as a reminder that this month's county commission meeting is the 28th.
Did you say the HU meeting was this week?
Yes, the HU meeting has been scheduled for next week, the 10th, Thursday, I believe, July 10th.
Is it still at 9 a.m. or is it 1?
The HU meetings are at 1 p.m. Yeah, at the historic courthouse in that first floor conference room. Just normal enrollment reports, grant reports from Ms. McKinney. the end of the year maintenance and facility reports, just the links to the active dashboard. Also being, the month of June mainly, personnel report for the board's full awareness. And then I just wanted, as a reminder, the board took action on the resolution for the teacher bonus. The process has been, the state has sent us a list of those that have been identified to be qualified to receive the $2,000 bonus. There's a criteria by which, you know, to determine their eligibility. You know, they have to serve children directly for 50% or more of their time. They have to have been employed in our district for at least 120 days in that capacity. And so we've gone through various iterations back and forth with the state. The deadline to submit our list was actually today or yesterday. And so the next step will be the state, we don't know when, they will disperse these bonuses to the eligible people on the list. And we anticipate sometime in July, but we have no date that's been given to us. And then it will take our payroll another, you know, approximately another month. So realistically, to disperse the checks to everyone on the list, it will be likely the September payroll.
So it will be a different check than.
If it can be, if it can be, and then I'll defer that question to Mr. Hep.
We're gonna try to do it sooner. The problem is, we're held up because of the budget situation. We have had to do a payroll, start one of the bi-weekly folks get paid this week. They're on FY 25 rates. So we've now got about 140 employees that's gonna be paid at last year's rate, that we're gonna have to go back and manually adjust. And because of the pay rates usually we'll have the pay rates, you know, by early June, mid-June. So we're about 3 weeks behind on even putting proper pay rates in for all the other employees. Now the teachers, obviously, they don't start till September checks, we've got some time there. I say all that, we're already behind by a few weeks. So we don't know if we can get that teacher bonus process by the end of August or not. It could very well be September. We're gonna try,
But it's a separate, like it
Yes.
won't look, you know, it won't be
It'll be a
in their
separate
check.
check.
It will be a separate.
yes,
Separate
it'll be a
disbursement.
separate
Separate
direct
disbursement.
deposit. And we have to code it, just so you all know, on the budget amendment next year, we'll have to code it to bring in that revenue the state's sending. And there's a bonus line that's separate from the normal salary line that we'll have to add those numbers in. That's just an FYI for when we add those numbers in on the budget amendment next year. It's actually this year now.
Yeah, and I certainly want to thank Mr. Whitaker, Mr. Helen, and all those that supported Mr. Whitaker in going through those 640 lines, names, and circumstances of each one to make sure that they met the criteria or not.
That goes to Mr. Whitaker, kudos to him for that. I had very little help on that, he stepped up with my workload with the budget. We kind of tag team off each other, you know, so.
Just wanted to make sure, you know, I know Mr. Hell's team will work as quickly as they can, but realistically, it may be September. Hopefully it can be in August, but we still don't have a date when we will actually receive, the funds will be, you know, dropped, so to speak, from the state into our account, so then we can begin the process of preparing the disbursements.
Unfortunately, we can't just do a few clicks and load it all and send it right on out. We've got to literally touch at least around 550 some names, in addition to the pay rates, trying to get those corrected at back pay now, and keep up normal payroll. So that's why we just can't do it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, AI can't help you.
Yeah. Once you get everything loaded right, it is some clicks, you know, once you get it all set up, so.
So to say that teachers will have it by September 30th would be a true statement.
We're confident that that'll happen. We're gonna try for sooner, but we're pretty confident that will happen.
I would love for them to have it by Labor Day, but, that's just a challenge.
We were strategizing today on how we're gonna attack it, because, you know, our first priority after tonight is hopefully getting all the pay rates loaded. And we're gonna start that process that gets everybody paid correctly on regular payroll and back pay now. That'll be our first priority. Keep
enough of the normal cycles then working in the teacher.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Consideration of the consent agenda. Is there a recommendation, Mr. Walters?
I make a recommendation that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Voting is open.
All right, we're moving on to discussion and presentations. We have, oh, so sorry, Jennifer.
Mr. Huddleston.
Mr. Huddleston.
All approved.
Now we're moving on to discussions. We have some purchase orders that came in after our workshop, so we need to go ahead and approve those.
First one, 5255, this is, as you can see, Danielwood High School. This is using school allocations with some district match out of our professional development money. In the amount of $36,800 for a series of professional developments that the school will be scheduling with their administration and their staff.
Just run through all of them.
Yes, ma'am, I'll do that. Just for awareness, this next one, Smart Pass subscription, this is part of the Raptor system, correct? This is a hall pass type system at our schools. After a lot of discussion, schools were a couple were using a different service. In the discussion, most everyone landed on Smart Pass. So this is just a check-in, check-out system in the classrooms when teachers let their students leave the classroom, and then when they come back, it counts for their attendance.
So does this have to be approved by somebody in the office? Because at one time we had something like that in our high schools, and it was just.
No, it's a monitoring system. If the teachers can, if they're out too long, I mean, they have a list who's out, they know anyway, but it's just an accountability system for the students. Purchase order 5305 is annual renewal Power School for services, renewal of the management services, in the amount of $11,093.76. This is a gate. We didn't have a lot of discussion about this, but we had an incident at the transportation department where an angry individual just came on the site and threatened our transportation staff. So, my suggestion and I guess my directive was to identify a solution and out of maintenance money, we're putting in a security gate for that whole area. Basically, scan in, scan out. Gate. Yes, sir.
Do we know who this individual is?
We do, and it was addressed.
Okay.
With their employer.
All right.
As well. There was a lot of involvement of different agencies. Yes, sir.
As long as it was addressed.
Yes, sir.
How long ago was it?
This happened, was it May, early May?
I think it happened sometime in April.
Okay, late April.
It started out as an incident with a school bus. And
Yeah, it was an angry parent on a bus incident. He followed the bus and then proceeded to go to the transportation department. It escalated, but it was addressed.
Mr. Barnes.
Good. That would be a reasonable item to consider to add to our security projects. Because that's what it is. We're protecting employees as we will be at school. School to protect employees and students, which is a bit different, but so we get the discussion on that one. Might be worth considering. We certainly need to do it, but maybe not take that off, right?
Well, we felt like we could. I understand your point, but we just felt like it was available. I mean, it was something, it was a need. And this wasn't the first time this incident happened, but this last incident was so heightened, it made us realize we needed to put something in place.
Yeah, no doubt we have to do it, but they just have, on these kind of, issues,
Yes,
reevaluate whether or not we take it out of the wrong direction.
yes. This is from student supports. Assume it's a need to address, and Dr. Wolf is here, a student need, with utilizing, monies from that fund. Next one is similar to Daniel Boone High School. This is David Crockett's. You know, these aren't the same services. They're focused on what the school leadership team have identified, what the principals have focused on. So this is David Crockett's support. Again, using some of their school-based allocations as well as a match from the district professional development funds. The next item is annually we have to submit a differentiated pay plan to the Department of Education. Our plan essentially has stayed the same for the past several years. Well, I thought this was, I'm sorry, I was still under consent agenda. Sorry, I thought it was consent. You're right, I'm sorry. Those are all of the items in consent.
Mr. Walters.
I'll make a recommendation that we approve purchase order 5255, 5252, 5305, 5353, 4933, 5375 for approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
I hate like the devil to pay $13,000 for a gate, but that's all supported.
Ms. Schwartz.
On the, I'm gonna vote affirmative. I have no reason not to, but, on the first two items, I don't feel like I have lead information. I guess I would like, you know, these annual renewals on software systems are just that, annual renewals. I'd like, staff to bring to us 2 bits of information. How long have we had that subscription, and how long has it been since we have bidded for consideration of an alternative?
We can bring that. I mean, I'll bring it to you. The staff will help me prepare.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
You know, some of these items I will say, and you can get into that discussion, and if the board chooses to bid it, I will recommend not to, not because I have a preference of them. There's a lot more involved, and these are state approved services that we had a menu to choose from. And plus they align with the state systems, for example, Power School. So, I mean, we can select other providers, but having done it as a technology director, I will tell you it's a significant project.
I understand that. I've lived in that world, you know, and other entities, but it'd be good to know.
Yes, sir.
You know, what's the impact? Is it worth considering?
Yes.
And it gets back to the, you know, if we're gonna have to type it, you know, those small decisions at a time, you know, may play into help us tighten that budget.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion? Can we vote, Jennifer?
Voting Stephen. Paula Creed.
Back on track, I'm sorry. As I said, it's a standard form. We address or respond to the required questions. It's a differentiated pay plan. It's still in the law. We provide opportunities for supplements for certain things. And it's been the same, Mr. Whitaker, for the past several years. We have not modified that in the past several years. And we're not requesting to change it this year. But it requires board approval, then we will submit to the state of Tennessee.
You need a,
I need a motion, sir.
I'll make a motion, we accept the differential pay plan as presented.
A second.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion or questions on the plan presented? Can we vote, Jennifer?
Meeting, second.
Oh, I'm still reading.
All agreed.
Thank you.
Fire alarm upgrade needs.
Yes. These are, several identified fire alarm systems upgrades. Dr. Adams is here and can address anything specific you have.
Right, well, we have a new person that's in that role for our fire alarms, Bradley Dingus, so in our maintenance department. Bradley's doing a great job, and as he went through with the fire marshal, we've identified these buildings specifically that need new panels, and they need the new sensors, various degrees in each building. All of them need new panels, and you can see the grand total there. And you know, that 131, what we're asking to do is take that to the HUE committee and ask them to make this part of our security funds that they're going to. They give us $250,000 a year. This is more than half of it in one fell swoop, not counting the ballistic film that we would like to put on our doors, not counting the fencing needs that we have around the county for our other campuses. So we'll spend that $250,000. I'd spend it tomorrow if we had a quote on some fencing and things like that. That won't touch what we need to do in the school system in terms of securing our facility. So we're trying to make educated proposals and recommendations, but these fire panels is a great deal of money, but it needs to get done. So that's what we're asking, to take this to HUE to ask to get the ball rolling through the county commission to use this as part of that $250,000 that they give us every year for our school safety.
So currently these panels are not working, or currently they're just out of date?
To a degree, both. All of them, their panels cannot be fixed. The parts are obsolete. So if they break down, they do not work. So that's why we're asking to get these done. We've cannibalized some of our other systems, so we have a few parts that will help fix them in the meantime. But we're one bad day from there's not a fire alarm at one of these buildings here. You can see all three buildings at Daniel Boone need replacing of certain panels.
Mr. Bland?
The whole thing I've seen, just CES is the only one that you had quoted here. Is there other quotes that we've identified?
The reason we went with CES is proprietary. Their fire systems are what we have in the other buildings, so it's upgrading our system to what we have in our other buildings. So we have one fire control panel system in all of our schools instead of a hodgepodge of all these other areas, which helps us streamline what we do with them. So we have one company we're working with, and we know we're consistent from building to building.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Time frame, is this something that needs to be done before school starts, or will the HUE committee be able to hopefully approve that before school starts and have this fixed, or what are we talking about?
Well, the process is HUE to budget to full commission. So,
Correct.
we posted, and if we receive support and get approval of the full commission, we would begin the process in August.
I believe Bradley told me it'd be 3 to 4 weeks from the moment we give a purchase order to get the things there and get them installed. Because not only is it just the panel, it's also some of the monitoring systems that's in the duct work and things like that.
If you've walked, well, you have, Daniel Boone High School, and that panel when you walk in, it has to be reset quite often. It has alarms quite often. And then our crew addresses those, but
As best we can.
As has been said, they're running out of those rare parts.
We will just going through the county, they'll require a sole source letter.
We have all
As
that.
long as we have that, there won't be
Yeah,
problems.
yeah, their procurement will require all that, and I believe Dr. Adams has already.
Yeah, we anticipated that.
Mr. Flynn?
I just wanted to say, if we send this to the county commission to have, it'll still come back to us once we get quotes, correct? No,
That
this
is
is
the
one and
quote.
done, okay.
Yeah, if we get approval through the channels at the commission to use educational capital funds, as long as procurement in the county is satisfied, we can proceed with purchase.
So you're asking for permission to take it to Hugh?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Walters?
I make a motion that we approve this fire alarm upgrade needs to go to the Hugh committee and so on and so forth.
Second that.
Any discussion? Can we vote, Jennifer?
Voting's open. All approved.
Okay, motion carries. Proposal of the natural gas service to Daniel Boone High School. I know that's something ongoing.
Yes, this request also, Dr. Adams has done a lot of, if not all the work, but Mr. Moore has been involved too, but, and thank you to Mr. Riddle, to also point us in the right direction and getting us connected with the right people, but, this would be a request to take to Hugh, to proceed with the installation and with the agreement installation of the gas line to supply the HVAC units that will be constructed and set at Daniel Boone High School.
Mr. Flynn?
Make a motion we approve the AMS proposal for natural gas service at Daniel Boone High School to be sent to the Hugh committee for funds.
Second, I had a question.
Well, discussion, go ahead.
Yeah, is this something we're asking for commission to, budget or to fund?
Yes, and you go through the Hugh and use educational capital funds, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And is this line not going to also, they would be able to branch off of it and other people in the community would be able to use it? So it's not just only for us. It benefits us, but it's not just only for us. It would work.
That's
for
my
me.
understanding. I mean, they would set a point and then they would feed off of that to us, but that would also allow access to residential or other commercial, businesses or whatever that decide to go on up that road.
Will they be in charge to them?
I'm sorry?
Will they be in charge to the additional hookouts?
I would assume that Atmos would
I
charge
would
you.
us,
At the time, when they,
I would say.
That's what I'm
like
saying,
water
I'm just curious.
well, is it, if anybody else hooks up to it, and if they get a charge, don't that money come back to us?
No, that's the
Because
cost,
we're paying to get the line brought out there?
that's the cost to bring the line out to supply our needs. And, that's just, I guess, the cost of doing business.
This line was just recently extended to come to a developer, which, from where it was prior to that, probably cut this cost in half. So we're not paying for what somebody else paid for. There'll be, developers between that point and then the high school that eventually will branch off, but they'll pay a tap fee to establish water line or any other utility.
So this is what, 80 or development? Okay.
But anybody else that would tap onto it, since it's already out there, they would get a charge to buy a tap, but they wouldn't get.
And run it from there or whatever point back there.
Because it's existing line, they'll just have to tap it. Any more discussion or questions? Jennifer, can we vote, please?
Voting's open. All approved.
All right, so we're moving into policy updates. I would like to pass these on second reading, so I personally am gonna make a motion that we pass these on second reading for academics, board operations, human resources.
Has anything changed
Yep, state law.
All of these were recommended by, TSBA based on the laws that changed, the adjustments in the laws this past session.
Emergency preparedness plan, operations, and student supports. To pass that on second reading, they are all from TSBA. Mr. Winter,
Second. Do you need me to make a motion or you?
I made the motion,
I'll second.
and Vince, Mr. Walters second. So are there any questions about any of those? Because they're all brought to us from TSBA, they're all law-based.
Are some of these we're just renewing, or are there changes to every one of these, Mr. Boyd?
There's changes to every.
There was a summary provided that gave you an overview
Right.
of everything, of what the changes were.
I didn't think it had all of these.
Yes.
Yeah, some of them were very little, some of them a little more detailed.
There's more listed, all the summary of the changes for each policy.
Is there any more discussion?
But a lot of these.
Yeah, there's a lot. Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Voting's open. All approved.
Motion carries. Thank you for passing those on second reading and all lumped together. We are now moving to our added item, F, which is the budget and the salaries. There was an oversight when we talked about the budget last time. There is a TCA code where we have to, there's a scale that we have to meet this year. And I thought it was guideline, and it is not guideline. It is required that we meet the 47,000 for the 0 year. So we have to revisit that this evening. The options that we have are presented from Jerry are on the screen. Mr. Masters?
I'd like to make a motion to accept option 4 with the addition of our superintendent's bonus at half, because everybody else is getting half of the raise.
Option 4.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? Mr.
Let's be honest with you, and everybody deserves all of it, but I just cannot support option 4. So I just want to leave that out there.
Elaborate a little bit.
Well, I just, I know what we're trying to do is get closer to that, 2095 is what, was proposed. This is adding that back in the proposal. And to get to that, because next year will be 2095 again. My only thought was, yes, we didn't get another dime from the funding body. There's been some misinformation out there. I hope we cleared it up a little bit tonight, but I just think option 1 and leave it to 3,000 for next year. And I just think spending the other 700,000, 720,000 more, I just don't think that we need to pull all that out of fund balance myself. And that's gonna put us below the 2 months that the comptroller at least advises us to have. It's not a state law, but
It's a suggestion.
it's a suggestion.
Mr. Huddleston?
Yeah, I'd like to amend the motion by adding $50,000 figure for payment for people who are on the leadership teams at the different schools.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Total for that amount, or for that action?
Yes, sir, it would be 4,200,000, or it would result in the use of $4,252,376 of fund balance. plus $5,000, so it'd be $4,257,376.
And then with Greg's, well,
That would be the use of fund balance total. You just add $5,000 to that $2,250,376 with Mr. Masters' motion to add back in my contract that was taken out, half of that. It was $5,000.
I'll second that amendment.
it's adding 50 more thousand back, though, would be
Oh, the 50,000, then plus the 50,000, so that would be,
4.307.
yes, sir, yes.
So the amendment is to add $50,000 for the leadership team. And there is a second. Is there any discussion on that?
Right. 2 years ago, we added this to budget for the people that were putting in the extra time after school, the extra time sometimes during the summer. The amount that we took out was something like 65,000. That was based on 2 years ago, not this year. And in speaking with Mr. Boyd, there were less positions that were on the leadership teams this year. So we're not removing supplements for anybody else in the budget except this one targeted area, which is a benefit for the teachers who put in their extra time, like anybody on a job who puts in time over and above what they're doing. Not 15 minutes here, but we're talking hours of time. And I think it's a nominal sum for the effort that teachers, as well as other people that are on this team as well in some schools, and it's a benefit for that to occur. And I think we should show our appreciation to these people. $500, I think if you break it down into hourly, it's not going to be much. And I'd like to see it reinstated back into the budget.
Yeah, I'd just like to reinforce that small amount of money, and if there's some opportunity here, positive reinforcement that helps, morale, teamwork, then, it's well worth it.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I just want to add, these are our future, in many cases, leaders. I'm sure that there are a number of assistant principals who will come out of this show. It shows to the community of people putting in their extra time, and it's a worthy expenditure of funds.
Yes, sir.
I have an answer to Mr. Huddleston's question. He just asked me, I texted my payroll person. She said if she remembers correctly, this stipend, when the principal sent everything in, because a few of them sent it in last minute there.
Yes, sir.
She said her memory says 62,000.
Okay.
Paid out this year, and it was 65,000 last year, roughly. So that's what her text just told me. So if this goes through and y'all cap it at 50, then we'll just need to put some limits on what each school can have, maybe, or something don't go 50.
And I don't think that was done, and I think that would be something that I would ask the superintendent to do, is to establish that so that those funds would handle. I'm sure some schools have more than others, and I'd like to see us work on that, but I still want to continue funding it.
Mr.
Well, we're sitting here trying to make cuts, do all these, give everybody the raises that they want and they deserve, and Greg, I'm kinda worried. I mean, we're gonna have to make some cuts, people. You all got to realize, next year's election year, I don't believe we'll get any more money, and we're gonna have to come up with another $4 million for next year's budget, so we're gonna have to make some cuts. That's my opinion, I don't know,
Mr. Flynn.
I was gonna say the same thing, I can't support that just because, I mean, we had 90,000 for athletics. Some of those were grossly underpaid and change on that. You know, the 54,000 for the bus drivers, you know, 330,300 for the classified staff raise. I mean, 62,500 for the management raise. I mean, I just can't support that in front of all these others, which there's been many other things that we've wanted to support. But, you know, Keith's got a point too. This year, we're gonna have to really watch any extra dollars that we spend, because it's gonna come out of, I mean, we already tonight, in the short, you know, today's July 1st, but the capital projects were already drawn out of it, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, those are noble projects, but at the same time, there's not a lot of apple left on the tree.
Any more discussion on the amendment? Can we vote, please, Jennifer?
Yes. Attorney Stipend, amendment failed.
Motion fails. That means we're back to the original amendment. Is there any more discussion on the original amendment, which is, or sorry, the original motion, which is number 4, with adding the directors, half of that, which is 5,000 back into his contract. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say, it's very regretful that we're having to work so hard and fight so hard to give the wonderful teachers of Washington County and the staff throughout who protect our kids, nurture them, educate them. We have to fight so hard to bring these salaries up. It pains me also is that the board trying to be fiscally responsible to drop below what's recommended the state comptroller's or reserve. I mean, we're gonna be below two months of the operating reserve. That's, I don't think any of us feel good about that. But you know, at the end of the day, we gotta take care of our staff, because we talk about education, some talk about county commission, say we give you everything you need. It's not about buildings and what you drive by and see. It's what goes on in that classroom and that face-to-face with those kids. That's education. You know, it's not, a pretty ball field. That's nice. That's the education operating money we need to hire and retain, as Mr. Rilla so well described in the workshop, is really what it's all about. I'm gonna vote for the motion. Let's just hope money comes our way in the future. The system really needs it.
Mr. Walters.
So the plain truth is that we have state mandated raises, laws put in place with no state funding to help and no local funding to help. So it is a battle, but we're gonna make sure that we are abiding by the law. But I just want our public to know we have no state funding to assist, we have no local funding to assist.
Any more discussion? So my question is it's my understanding, we were told that no amendments would be approved to our budget. If we take this to them, is this gonna be something they're going to address, or are we?
We hope so, that they'll follow their own procedures, and also normal operations. If they don't, we still operate under what they approve, but as far as the overall, but Mr. Hill and I operate under what the board approves. So we will not exceed what the commission has approved. We will just operate under the adjustments that the board has made, regardless if formally the commission accepts these amendments.
Can we vote?
How, Jerry, how can they do that? It's got to come before us, before it ever gets to them. They can turn it down, then come back to us. It comes back to us. But they're operating on the 6 million that they turned down.
They approved the budget on June 18th, and it had the $6 million gap, and of course the board's made some decisions. And whether or not they approve anything beyond that, we're gonna operate under what the board approves. Because it will not exceed the funds, both the revenues and the expenditures of what's in the approved budget. So, at the end of the year, as with every year, we have budget amendments. Even if we don't achieve budget amendments now, prior to the end of next fiscal year, we will have to have the budget amendments as is standard operation.
Thank you. Anybody else? Can we vote, Jennifer?
Voted seven. Carries with 2 noes.
Motion carries.
Consideration of the salary adjustments to reflect the changes in the salary.
You want us to, oh, yes, so, with that change, then we have to move on to the salary schedule, so we need to approve the new salary schedule that we have set forth tonight in the budget.
If you authorize us to adjust the salary schedule to reflect the changes, we will do that, and then we will post those as we have, and we're expected to, and we should. We will post those on our website. It will reflect the amendments to the changes to the budget, the expenditures that you all have approved just now. But I need authorization from the board to make those effective.
I make a motion that we approve and amend the salary schedule as per the voted on amendment to the budget tonight.
Second.
The motion is second. Is there any questions? Any discussion? Can we vote, Jennifer?
Voting's open. All agreed.
Motion carries. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to publicly thank our Director of Finance, Brad, Mr. Whitaker, and Mr. Boyd for what they've done over the last 7, 8 weeks. It shouldn't be gone without some kind of notice. Just appreciate what y'all done, what you got ahead of you now to do. And I'm sure everybody in the system agrees with you.
I'd like to confirm, because I'll have these salary schedules, I'll have the salary schedules updated into Mr. Boyd by sometime in the morning.
Okay.
Maybe sooner if I can stay awake like tonight. Just to be clear, what we've done is the teachers in 2095 as we originally planned. And for the classified, the non-management, non-teacher staff, that will be the equivalent of 50 cents an hour. Same equivalent for the bus drivers, and then a flat valve for all systems. Okay.
And our directors.
5,000, yes, for the directors.
Everybody at peace?
No, wait.
Yeah, but, all right, then we are adjourned.
Sorry, I want to come back to the salary schedule.